Hello there everybody, and welcome back yet again to the Joe Nerd's Toy Room, here with a very, very vintage Masters of the Universe toy review. As you can see, for those of you familiar with the Masters of the Universe line, you'll notice that I've gone way, way back into the Wayback Machine. And we are going to the very, very beginning of the line, released in 1982. The Masters of the Universe Assault Lander Wind Raider. So this is one of the very, very first vehicles in the line. And a vehicle that I never even owned as a child. I just bought this, I believe it was last year, at a local Comic-Con from one of the Plastic Junkie's good friends that goes by the name of Orko the Great. So I bought this from him, and it was at a very, very, very good price, by the way. He gave me a very good price on it. So anyway, there you go. So, before I get into the toy, I'll just touch a little bit more on the box. Now this was not sealed when I bought it. It was loose but complete with box. So I'll just take you through the box a little bit more here. Wings and tail move, has grappling hook and winch, carries He-Man on surprise raids. I really, really like that. It has, the way it's written, it has a very grown-up, very aggressive, gritty, realistic feel to the way it's written. I don't know, maybe I'm reading a little bit too much into it, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, and then it's not over there. Then you go to the bottom of the box, which has nice artwork as well. So it's got a nice shot of it landed, the Wind Raider landed with some heroic warriors, He-Man and Teela specifically, facing Beastman. And it's very interesting too, if you notice Beastman actually appears to be, well, he's holding a sword. I want to say that it almost looks like He-Man's power sword, but you can't really tell for sure. But, you know, and I say that because for those who aren't familiar, a lot of these early box art paintings, as beautiful as they are littered with continuity errors, because, well, of course, I should not call them continuity errors. I should just say that, but when this was painted, the artist had, you know, like, there were not so many rules as to, the rules had not been set in place as to what this Masters of the Universe was going to be all about. But anyway, so there you go. So, the nice box art. Oh, and I should even point this out, even on top, it has, as well as the size and dimensions. That's interesting. And then you've got beautiful artwork along the top too that joins the top and the bottom together. Painted by Rudy Obrero, I should also point out. The masterful painter who is very famous for painting many, 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 many of the Masters of the Universe box arts, including Castle Grayskull. Anyway, we're going to get that out of here. Oh, and before I get it out of here, I'll just point out one more thing. You have the nice co-cells that are also prominently displayed here on the box. And you've got the nice Castle Grayskull in its earliest look with all of the changes. Look at that, even the ledge on the side here. Yeah, look at that, a really odd-looking laser large laser blaster on the top there that looks completely different. This is probably going to be very close to the one that we're going to end up getting from Matty early next year, or I should say late next year. Sorry about that. Anyway, enough of that. I've eaten up enough time talking about the packaging, but I wanted to give it its due because it is that great. So anyway, now we've got the toy itself. The classic vintage Wind Raider. So as you can see here, it's all in pieces, just as the way that I bought it from Orko the Great. And I decided I was going to hold off on building it. Boy, I've had this for like, I don't know, it feels like I've had this for close to a year. I think I bought this early this year, in 2012, that is. So, before I assemble it and everything, you can all admire it in pieces. And I also want to do something else that's a little different. I'm going to read a little passage from this book. This book is Mastering the Universe, written by Roger Sweet with David Welker. So this is a very good book. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's Roger Sweet. He is one of the core creators of He-Man, especially the character of He-Man. And yeah, he had a great deal to do with the whole Masters of the Universe line in general. So just want to, as controversial as his opinions go, I know a lot of people like me really like him, and I know that he has just as much haters out there. So I'm going to read this quickly because I thought it was really interesting and it really pertains to this little vehicle. All right. If Battle Ram included some disappointing elements, the Wind Raider, designed by Mark Taylor, was an unmitigated disaster. It was, without question, the weakest vehicle ever designed for Motu. It looked like a dinghy with old-fashioned crude jet engines attached to either side. Its main feature was a string winch, and its adjustable side wings and tails showed little imagination. In a line where all other products sold like fire extinguishers at a lava flow, the Wind Raider sold so poorly that marketing decided to drop it from the line. I recall discussing the Wind Raider with Paul Cleveland. He shook his head and made some disparaging comment about how it was a weak link in a strong line. It was one of the few times I ever heard Paul say anything negative about any Masters product. So anyway, I just thought it was really interesting and entertaining and colorful. You know, it's funny the way that these Masters of the Universe fathers, these I call them fathers, but the creators of the line are they seem very they're always all of these rivalries that are going on with all of them. It's just really interesting that they worked so closely on this beautiful line in developing this amazing line that we all cherish and feel like it's magical and everything, and they're just they cannot, let's just say they cannot see eye to eye. That is an understatement. Anyway, now on to the baby herself. So now the little Wind Raider, you know, and I guess I read that passage in I read that little part of Roger Sweet's book because I think I tend to agree with him. It's it is an unimpressive Masters of the Universe vehicle. You know, you've got the winch, which is a fair feature, by the way, and it works very much like the classics version that we got earlier on in the Masters of the Universe Classic line. It works just like that, but I think I've wound it out a little too much. There we go. And then what you can do is plug it in the front here, so it'll be in its stationary mode. There we go. So you've got that. So now what I've decided to do, I want to plug in for the first time the tail rudder. So let's see how this works. This looks like it is going to be a tight fit, and this is going to be a one-time assembly. I guarantee you that, guys. Wow, it is a tight fit, but it does fit very, very well, and without stress marks too, which I'm very, very pleased about. I was a little worried about that. All right, now let's get to the wings. Little wings here. You know, they're they serve their purpose. They really, and this whole vehicle, this whole thing really has that old-fashioned Masters of the Universe vibe. Like, you can really tell that this is one of the earliest vehicles in the line. It really has that old-fashioned Masters of the Universe flavor going on. I guess that's just my opinion, but to me it really screams old-fashioned, which is not a bad thing at all. So I'll gently put in the wings. I don't want to put them in all the way. They're very tight fit. And then it'll leave me the option of unplugging them for storage later. But anyway, there you go. There is the Wind Raider, all fully assembled. Yeah, and it's quite small for a Masters of the Universe vehicle. It's very small, a lot smaller than the Classics version. I apologize that I did intend to bring out my Classics version to go along with this little thing with a size comparison, but my Wind Raider is packed away in a really big bin, and I really did not feel like going to hunt for it, so I apologize for that, but I don't really think it's fully necessary. I think any of you watching this will really be able to tell how small it is just by watching this. And and for those who aren't familiar with the size, don't worry, very shortly I'm going to bring in a figure to put in the driver's seat, in the pilot's seat, and that will really show you the scale. So anyway, before I do that, I also wanted to show you this. This is really interesting. As well, as good as shape as the vehicle is, and might I add that it's in very good shape. He also, Orko the Great, also had for me the labels unapplied, if you can believe that. Amazing. And I've even got the trademark here. Mattel Incorporated, 1981. Man. 1981. It does not get any older than that as far as Masters of the Universe goes. And if you look at them very closely, I hope it'll show that they almost look like they were done with marker. It's very old-fashioned. Even the stickers have a very old-fashioned feel to them when you look at them. So anyway, there you go, there's that. Now, lastly, as promised, I'm going to bring in a driver for this Wind Raider, and I've decided to put Mekaneck in the driver's seat. Now let's see what this is like. Yeah, I don't know. Boy, oh boy, I don't know. It really, it continues to feel unimpressive to me, especially when you put a driver in the seat. It just seems, I don't know. Let's be honest, it's not the most impressive Masters of the Universe piece, and I find when you have a figure in the pilot's seat, it really shows you how ridiculously small and underscaled this thing is. It almost looks like a joke. That's just my opinion. Sorry guys, for those of you who love this toy, I apologize, but I've got to be honest and give my honest opinions here. It's a nice design, but it's very underscaled. It's way too small. It's funny that looking at it from this angle, it looks a lot better. But then when you turn it to this angle, my God, it looks it looks silly. But anyway, that's about it, guys. So hope you all enjoyed this look at the Wind Raider Assault Lander. I love that subtitle of it, by the way, guys. So anyway, until next time, I hope you enjoyed this little look at this most vintage a vintage Masters of the Universe vehicle. So until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you all in the very, very near future. Bye for now.